Hey, it's Nintendo Sony Freak 2011 over here, aka MannyWolverine. You guys know Wrestling George Channel on maybe shoot Brady on Rumble, Odyssey, and his social media platform site you guys can think of. So, anyways, this came out a day or two ago. This is the most recent ones I can see. And then as you could clearly see, I'm playing some old school classic N64 like Bowser's theme shit in the background because not a biggest huge part of my nostalgia because I didn't have the N64. I had the PS1 set because my parents weren't super rich as fuck to be giving me like all this super old school classic PS1, N64, PS2 shit at the time back in the late 90s, early 2000s, or Dreamcast. I would have been great if I did, but fortunately I didn't have it like that. And the freaking poor ass project was the Spanish area of Harlem, New York. It's all the way up in upstate New York before I was even living in this desert area here in Vegas. Which, anyways, there's that, and I want to talk about this thing that happened almost 2.5 days ago, almost 3 days old. I know I was in there to see it, but man, real low blow to anyone that was a hardcore Lord of the Rings fan because Amazon decided to cancel the plans, like it says. Amazon cancels plans for Lord of the Rings, and then some other extra news came out almost 5 days ago. A little bit of the older news says voice actor Kale from Sunstrider gets replaced. I think because he was involved in the hashtag #MeToo movement and shit, which I don't really give a shit about. Those are just side government FBI CIA garbage. Anyways, this comes from Wesley Ian Poole. So this is Nintendo suing hacker Gary Bowser, really. Not the CEO of Nintendo America, Doug Bowser. So there is that. So let's get on to this. It was reported by Polygon, Nintendo suing a Switch hacker named Gary Bowser. Named the Koopa Bowser, that's the crazy thing. So it's reported by Polygons from Eurogamer. I'm reading from here because it's less garbagey than Polygon Kotaku. Let's move on. Yeah, it's reported by Polygon. Nintendo of America filed a lawsuit against the 51-year-old Canadian national Bowser, who was an alleged member of the Switch hacker creators of Team Zexcutter. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Zexcutter. I think it's Zexcutter. I don't know. That's right. President Nintendo of America, Doug Bowser, is suing a Nintendo hacker called Gary Bowser. It's the battle of the Bowsers in court. On a serious note, it's a damn shame Nintendo got their shit hacked again. Again, they would have been like Microsoft. They don't have to worry about that shit as much. Or even Sony, but let's move on. In October, the U.S. government issued a multiple federal charge against Bowser alleged fellow Team Zexcutter, or X-Cutter, member of Max Laurent, a 48-year-old French national from, because they're French Canadians out there too, I forgot. Name Avignon, hopefully I'm saying it right. Avignon, and Yanning Chen, hopefully I'm saying that right. 35 from Shenzhou, China. Let's move on. Sorry if you hear that noise in the background. I don't live even that close to a military base, but all these stupid little fighter jets are always fucking making these sonic noises, but can't do shit about that. Let's move on. Here it is. Bowser is currently being held. Hopefully you guys can hear that. He's currently being held in custody in U.S. soil as he was arrested and deported from the Dominican Republic in September. Oh, wow. I know. Iran was arrested in Canada, in which the U.S. is seeking his extradition. Shen is still at large. He's probably going to be at large forever, man. China's a big-ass freaking country, and probably not going to find him ever. And I'd be surprised. Let's move on. It sounds like Nintendo's making the most for Gary Bowser in custody, according to the U.S. custody. Hopefully I said that right. According to Polygon, the new lawsuit is against a fringe of Nintendo's copyright in selling its hacks. The lawsuit is trying to charge Bowser with the trafficking courts and one of copyright violations. I just can't take that name seriously. It's Bowser's Koopa from the old school Mario series. They're arresting the dinosaur. No! On seriousness, that's a bitch. I don't know if he got bullied for that when he was in school or not, but it is what it is. But let's move on. Team Zexcutter is perhaps the best known for selling Nintendo Switch mod chips, but it's been operating for years, selling its mod chips for consoles as far back as the original Xbox. There are over a dozen members of Team Zexcutter, I might be butchering it wrong, around the world, including the developers, web designers, suppliers, and manufacturers who do devices and resellers. Who are the devices and resellers, I guess. The Zexcutter use a variety of product names for its devices, such as Gateway 3DS, the Stargate, True Blue. I've heard of these before. I never used any of them, or this one, Classic to Magic. And the SX line devices that include the SX OS, the SX Pro, and the SX Lite, and SX Core. So I guess they're just bootleg fake versions of Nintendo Switch and their older consoles from way back in the SNES era all the way up to like when there was a GameCube, Wii, and Wii U era. Now it's a Switch era, and it's probably going to be the Switch Pro next. Let's continue. You may recognize the Gateway name back in 2014. Eurogamer reported that the Gateway had been accused of allowing users of 3DS controllers to become irretrievably, hopefully I'm saying that right, retrievably bricked as a secret to kill Switch. It was introduced in a recent update. Gateway has previously beamed out the launch of copycat devices to use the modified versions of the earlier, but were repackaged and separated by its own, separate products. And it also goes on to say, I already played that one. In June 2020, the torrent freak, Zek Cutter, refused its piracy stigma while accusing Nintendo of censorship, monopolistic, hopefully I'm saying it right, monopolistic control, and legal scare tactics. The Department of Justice and Team Zek Cutter at times as, quote, it cloaked its illegal activity was promoted a desire to support the gaming enthusiasts and wanted to design their own video games for non-commercial use, unquote. But it insisted in overwhelming demandings and the use for its devices while playing pirate video games, unquote. Polygon reported Nintendo was damages is $250, I guess $2,500 if you want to say it right. For each trafficking ticket, $150 grand for each copyright violation and complete shutdown of Bowser's operation. Woo! Overall thoughts and opinions are probably going to be in the world of shit. They're screwed up the ass, except for the dude Zhang Shen. Probably saying that wrong. What was his name? Yeah, Shen. Yuaning Shen, he's probably going to get away with it forever. I doubt if he's ever going to get caught. Because, I said before, I'll say it again, China's a big-ass place, and there's a lot of communism, Marxism shit that goes on over there, so highly doubt his ass is getting caught. Unless he would have been over there making fake Chinese products. And unfortunately, that's what they're known for the most, but still love the crap out of the woman, the most beautiful woman in the world. To me personally, is Asian girls. I still like the other race ethnicities, but like the Latinos, the whites, and last. But for me personally, I just like Asian chicks just a tiny bit more. As far as that goes, yeah, the dude's probably going to get away with it. The other two are probably going to go in prison for the rest of their life, unless they get like 2-3 years off, and then the U.S. government, like the ICA, NSA, they probably hire him to do like hacks and stuff, or do be the defense of computer hacking and modding, or cybernetic defense. I don't know. That's what I think that might end up happening. He'll probably get hired for that or some shit, and he'll be okay. So let's get on to the more sadder fucked up news that happened last week Saturday. Amazon canceled for massive Lord of the Rings. And I actually got a little thing to play with that there. Lord of the Rings. I'm going to play some of that shit. Cancels Lord of the Rings massively for multiplayer games. Comes from Cod Spangler from last week, from 2 days ago. April 18th. Almost. I thought it was the day before. Whatever. Fuck it. Let's go. So it says, with Amazon shelling out its epic. Here we go. Shelling out an epic $465 million for one of the Lord of the Rings TV adaptations. The company's game units have plans to send on J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth. In 2019, Amazon Game Studios has announced the plans for a massively multiplayer online game set as, quote, time set long before the events of Lord of the Rings. Exploring lands of peoples and creatures never before seen by the fans of the Tolkien universe. Amazon has inked a deal for developed to free-to-play console PC games that would, hopefully I'm saying this right, Leo Technologies, a Hong Kong-based games company after Chinese media and entertainment, go China again, not surprised, conglomerate, Tencent, there's a lot of bad reputation for Tencent, I ain't gonna get into that shit. Holdings acquired by Lenyu in December 2020, a deal net worth of $1.5 billion. Amazon and Tencent failed to reach a deal on revising contracts for the terms of Lord of the Rings games. It was first reported by Bloomberg, resulting in Amazon Game Studios bailing on the project. Quote, we love, hopefully I'm saying this right, we love the Lord of the Rings intellectual property and are disappointed that we won't be bringing the game's customers. An Amazon spokesperson said in a statement, the team that was working on Lord of the Rings prequel games will be moved to different projects according to Amazon. News and cancellation comes after Amazon Game Studios last year scrapped plans for, I'm saying this right, Cubicle, third person last one standing game of the trust and betrayal. The unit's much delayed New World Sandbox MMO game, which players can engage in struggling, conquering colonizations of New World Wilderness has been rescheduled for summer 2021. The Lord of the Rings base game project was separate from Amazon Studios' massive adaptation of The Lord of the Rings, which accompanies a multiple season production commitment and produced a corporation, Tolkien Estates and Trust, HarperCollins and Warner Bros. New Line Cinema. Layu's Athlon Games, hopefully I said it right, Athlon Games has previously announced a long-term licensing agreement with Middle-earth and Enterprises, a division with Sal Zazanti. I'm probably going to butcher all the fuck out of these, especially the Chinese. No offense to anyone that's that racist, but move on. Sal Zanti, corporation that owns exclusive worldwide rights to Tolkien's literacy works, developed, publishing Lord of the Rings video game. I guess that was it. Yeah, so overall thoughts and opinions. Real hardcore. It's like people that are into Harry Potter fans or old people that were into like the whole Twilight series show, which I'm not going to say most of them are girls. There were some that were dudes that liked Twilight series, the one that had the vampire fucking wolf series. I remember how huge as fuck that was, and I was like in senior high school all the way up to like even freshman, sophomore year, even junior year, all the way up to like community college. That shit, Twilight was ginormous, and Lord of the Rings was too. And then they did it with The Hobbit. I remember Desolation of Smile. This is way back like 2012, 2013. Like the second or third year, I had my Nintendo Sony Free channel. I was like the biggest. I think I had 260,000 plus views on that channel, and then it went down to like 45, 50,000 when the YouTube purge thing happened. So crazy how that shit worked. Desolation of Smile. I remember how big as fuck that was. And I was hyped for that too. I still got the link down below. I'll probably show it to you. It's a lot more cringy. This is when I was still at the older house before I moved to this place. Anyways, overall thoughts, views, and opinions. Until I had my older camera at the time too. It's a damn shame for hardcore Lord of the Rings fans, the ones that really, really in the books and the whole wizardry magic of it, like they are with Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars shit. It's a damn shame. It's a kick in the nuts for all of us hardcore fans that were into that. Actually, all the other ones like Mr. Frodo, Mr. Baggins. I used to just watch the movies of it. I played maybe one or two of the games on Game Boy Advance on the PSP back in the day, and maybe the PS2 era, but that was it. Anyways, getting to the last unfortunate news here. More sad news. I mean, you guys are Blizzard Activision fans for World of Warcraft. I don't really give two shits and a fuck about World of Warcraft. I'm sorry. But I know some of you guys do, so I'm going to read it for you. New voice actor Kale the Sunstrider is almost 5 days old, so you guys probably know about this if you're hardcore WoW fans. Kathleen Sunstrider previously voice lines were placed in patch 9.1. The first build stage in patch 9.9, Chains of Domination, is currently available to the public to test realms. Players have been exploring documentary changes, but a specific change, 9.1, has caught the attention of players. All voice lines of Kelthas Sunstrider, hopefully I'm saying it right, have been re-recorded by a different voice actor. In the video below, courtesy of Siamia, you can listen to a voice comparison between the post 9.1 Kale's line. It is worth noting that it wasn't only Shadow Lanes, but concept was recorded. Even Kale's line that was burning Crusaders, such as the Tempest Keep and the Magic's Terrence, which we recorded patch. I don't know what any of this shit is because, once again, I never played or never really gave a rat's butt about World of Warcraft. WoW. I gave a shit a little bit about League of Legends, but not to World of Warcraft. That shit just bored the hell out of me. Some of you guys that are into it, yeah, it's a sad day for you guys because it doesn't say that he was connected to any of the SJW like hashtag Me Too movement because he was really, really accused on that shit big time, and that's the real reason why Blizzard Activision fired him on the spot, which is a bitch. He shouldn't have just did that because of his beliefs. That's kind of fucked up bullshit. That's 1984 George Orwell crap. I don't think he shouldn't have got fired because of that fucked up reason. So fuck Blizzard Activision for doing that shit. That's all I got to say for now. I'm out here. Links down below. I'm done. Peace out once again, ladies and gentlemen. Fanboys and fangirls. Tacos, Mondays. I'll see you when I see you. It's a day of good night wherever you're never out there. Stay the more your content, including video game industry news and my news and that's it. Take it easy. Peace out on the SoundCloud. Let's goodbye. See you in the flip.